The D in D series stands for Dark States. It's OTK time. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm This4 here. Today we are back on popular request because we have people ask for this video, so I've had no choice to surrender my personal details. Today we have Bruce, the Unrivalled. And of course, because I don't enjoy playing decks that actually win, today we have Fate of Fourth.
His deck also win.
It does. So Fate of Fourth is actually a competitive Bruce player. So he's here to tell us today about his favorite deck, right?
No.
Okay, so just tell us more about the deck.
I mean, from the VMS Bruce video, you already know what the right lines are. This is Matt, it's the best in turn, this is Steve, and you call him out, you soul charge the over trigger.
Okay.
When this is Richard, then he gains 5k on Rearguard Circle in
final rush.
Then you have Diabolos Anger Richard. Then he can put one Rearguard into the soul, then he gains, he draw one, and then Rearguard Circle he also gains 5 in final rush. So of course, since it's not VMS Bruce, the Rearguard skills don't really matter because you actually can play good cards now.
Yeah.
Because now we play the best trial deck card, Violence Bruce. So Violence Bruce, the difference is between him and his purple counterpart is you become final rush at the start of your
right
turn,
face.
the start of your right phase when he's on Vanguard Circle. So that means that you actually get to use all your main phase final rush skills when you're on Violence Bruce. And when he attacks, you can soul blast 5 to stand all your final rear guards.
What a good card.
But now we are going far beyond standing final rear guards. We can become Dragonic Overload.
Yes, very strong.
Diabolos, Unrivalled Bruce.
2 copies in the main deck.
So Unrivalled Bruce is a grade 4, so it means that you obviously have to wait until turn 4 to right him. Or do you? Okay, but mainly you have to wait until turn 4 to right him. He has the same first skill as Violence Bruce, so at the start of your right phase, if he's on Vanguard Circle, you are in final rush until the end of your turn. And at the end of the battle that he attacks, you soul blast, counter blast 1, soul blast 5. So if you now add on a CB on top of the soul blast 5, but you stand not just all your final rear guards, you stand the entire front row, including himself, and he loses 2 drive until the end of the turn. So this is a once per turn restand, so if you have 2 CB and 10 soul, no, you cannot restand it twice, but you still get 2 Vanguard attacks and the entire front row restand. It's very, very deadly, especially with all the stuff that Final Rush had up till set 4 and including like set 6 stuff.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to our grade 3s. Our grade 3s, we obviously play 1 copy of Bruce for the right deck, yes. 3 copies of Marjorie. Hey, you don't play the new audition. Then we have 3 copies of Brian, 3 copies of Pandemonium Tactics, and then 2 copies of Julian. Now, this deck seems very shieldless, but to be fair, we run through the deck so fast and we soul charge so much. It is an OTK deck. You're meant to hold on to all your combo pieces and just beat his skull in on turn 4, and then you win. So let's start with that. Yeah. Bruce is in the right deck. We've already discussed it.
Yeah, so we'll go with Marjorie first. So Marjorie, of course, is one of the main ways that this deck still pluses, because you're running so many shieldless cards. You want to still have ways to not only plus soul, plus to hand as well as neck your field in the event that you fight Ganiva. So Marjorie's skill is once per turn when she attacks. You choose one of your other rear guards, you put into your soul, and then you draw a card and then you soul charge. So it has to be in that order, so you have to draw first and then soul charge. So mainly it's just there so that with her skill you get 2 soul instantly just for her attacking. And then she also gets 10k at the end of turn. So she's a 23k beater. She gives you 2 soul, and also she draws you a card, which is very, very strong for just 1 beater that you have to wait until turn 4 to use.
Yeah.
So
overall, Marjorie is just a really good card for Bruce. The only downside is she's not a Diablo, so you don't play environments. But every other Bruce should play her at least 3 or 4.
There's only two other versions of this.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, then we play Diablo Striker Brian. So Brian
is the OTK card.
Yes. So even though he's a Diabolos, you'll see why, because he has an X skill and he requires you to be in final rush. So his skill is that once per turn you may soul blast 2 and all of your final units gain 5k, and if you're in final rush your Vanguard gets a crit.
Yeah.
So it just gives like a mini force 1, force 2 to your entire front row.
Dragon Tree Marcus.
Yeah, to your entire front row. And then it gives a mini force 1 to your entire front row, and then it gives a crit to your Vanguard if you're in turn 4 plus. And mainly he's just there because we are having a restanding Vanguard now.
Yes.
The restanding Vanguard definitely with extra crit pressure will more often than not kill your opponent unless they have like 4 PGs in hand.
Yep.
But as you can see, because it's an X skill and you don't enter Final Rush until you're in battle phase with Diabolos Bruce, you cannot use him in Diabolos. You have to use him only in Unrivalled. But overall, it's like Soul Blast 2 to get a crit, I think is pretty strong, especially in the deck that builds so much soul. Speaking of building soul,
Pandemonium tactics.
So I've tried this variant with Hell Blast Soul Dive, and honestly, like the Soul Charge 4 from Pandemonium is super deadly in terms of just being able to get 2 Unrivalled turns in case you need actually 2 Unrivalled turns to win, rather than you blast all on the first Unrivalled turn and you don't kill and then you're just unable to Soul Blast 5 for the rest of the game.
Oops.
Yeah, so besides the Soul Charge 4, Pandemonium Tactics will give you other skills depending on how much soul that you have. So you have 6 or more soul, you draw 1, you have 8 or more soul, your whole Faro gains 10k, so it's equal the same as Hell Blast. But if you have 12 or more soul, which is that can easily achieve thanks to the other cards that we're going to play, your Vanguard gains a crit. So once again, because we are playing a Withstanding Vanguard, it's going to be very deadly to have to just start stacking as many crits as you can on Unrivalled and then withstand the entire column. So they have to PG the Vanguard circle, and you put any crits on the rear guards, then they're going to be even harder to guard. Yeah. Okay, so Pandemonium is out. But of course, because this is a Bruce deck, there's obviously going to be a lot of issues in terms of, you know, if your whole board gets wiped out or you just don't draw enough pieces. So that's why we have Julian. So Julian, of course, has been the backbone of every Bruce deck ever since DVDO 6. His skill is that when he attacks, for every 2 cards for every card your damage zone against 2k, and for every intervals of 2 cards your damage zone, you soul charge 1, and you choose 1 card and you may choose up to 1 card from your soul and call it to open Vanguard circle. So he is just there to repopulate your field with whatever you soul charge using Pandemonium or whatever you soul charge on the right line and things like that. You can also reuse things that you soul charge with Marjorie and then call it out, because there are ways for us to empty. Because in Unrivalled there are efficient non-on-hit ways to empty our frontal Vanguard circles. So there are ways to multi-attack beyond 6 attacks with Unrivalled skill.
Such a good card.
Such a good card. Too bad it costs a Counter Blast.
For grade 2s, we play Richard in the right deck and then 3 copies of Derek. This is Derek with an I, not Derek.
Y.
Oh, Derek with a Y, not Derek with an I. So Richard's from the right deck. We've already covered him.
Derek with a Y, he's basically another option that we have to counter Garniva, as well as also is to help activate our Pandemonium Tactics, because his skill is okay. So his first skill is that if you're in Final Rush, he gets 5 continuous. And second skill is act once per turn. You counter blast 5 and put one of your rear guards into soul, so he can put himself into soul, which is why sometimes you see him without irregular Spirium.
Yes.
For every 4 cards in your soul, you choose one of your opponent rear guard retire. So oh no, Basher the Court cannot retire.
Eugene!
Cannot retire Basher the Court. But if you're in Final Rush, you look at the top cards in your deck equal to the number of open rear guard circles that your opponent has. And then, so basically, yeah, it is Eugene. And then you call it to rear guard circle and the rest of them goes to soul.
We love Eugene.
So, so usually trigger units that doesn't matter because you can't put them back to deck anyway. So you might as well just put any triggers you see into soul. Thus you can build your soul count from 6 because he goes to soul. You have 5 when you ride Unrivalled. He goes to soul, you get 6, so you can retire 1. Then any triggers you can put into soul, then that puts you to like 8 or 9 soul. Once you use Pandemonium, you're up to 13. So you can automatically already activate Pandemonium's +1 crit.
So just for a moment here, I'd like to mention that my Eugene video for set shelf is in the link to the description, as well as Bruce. So if you're interested in playing a deck that seems like this but not as strong, yeah, you can check out those two. For grade 1s, we play 4 perfect guards. It has to be this one because we don't want to play the order.
No, you can't play the order. If you can't play the order, you're playing grade 4.
And then we play 4 copies of Impediment Slicer.
Yes.
Yeah, I packed this one. Then we have 3 copies of Mr. Protoball, 3 copies of our goodest boy, Mr. Diabolos, and of course Mr. Steve. Steve is from the right deck, so we don't have to say much about him anymore. PG, you want to survive, we don't have to talk about that much anymore. Dober is the staple of Bruce since set 2. If you don't play Dober, you're not playing Bruce, but you can't play Environment. So his skill is very simple. At the end of battle, is unit Bruce. If you're in Final Rush, move him to the soul, choose one of units, he gains 10. It's a soul, and it's a +10. And that's insane for any unit that's multi-attacking.
You can also choose your Vanguard.
You can also choose your Vanguard, which means it is OTK time.
Yeah, so it's better than the other one that Bruce got, which is that you just put in the soul to give you a Bruce Vanguard 10.
No, but I mean this guy is... That's an X skill. Wade is an X skill. This is an actual skill you use during the battle phase, which helps you open circles for Julian and Protobulb as well.
So Protobulb, he's sort of like the tech card in this deck. So honestly, you see any of the 3-offs that we play in this deck, you could cut one Protobulb and then play a full playset of any of the 3-offs that you see so far. If you feel like you want to play, let's say you want to play 3 Unrivaled, or you want to play 4 Marjorie, or you want to play 3 Julian, it's up to you.
Play more shield cards.
Because honestly, Protobulb, there really will not be many opportunities for you to use him because of the CB cost. Unrivaled is a very, very CB heavy deck compared to just running Persona Right Violence Bruce, which we showed on this channel before.
Yep, links in the description.
Yeah, so overall, like, you won't really have any opportunities to use Protobulb, but when you do, he's very strong because his skill is that when he boosts, if you're in Final Rush, you counterblast 1 and you choose one of your other rearguards, you put your soul. So usually you either have a back row rearguard circle, back row rearguard station ready to put into soul, or you empty out your other final rearguard circle so that you can call with Julian. And then you choose one card from your soul and you add it back to your hand. So you can choose, let's say like you soul charge, like your over trigger, you can add it back to your hand.
Yeah.
You soul charge your perfect guard or your front trigger, 20k shield front, you can add it back to your hand. Things like that. Things just ways for you to survive. Of course, because since we're not running Persona Right, there's no more looping of Persona Rights anymore. But honestly, in Unrivaled, like, it really doesn't matter. And then we come up to the reason why his deck finally is competitive again is Impediment Slicer.
It is a tournament promo, so fight your children.
Yeah, so Impediment Slicer has an act ability is that when this card is played, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 operator and you're sitting on a Bruce Vanguard, you can counterblast 1 to search your deck, your drop zone,
or your soul
for a grade 4 card with Bruce in his name, and then you ride it as 10. So basically, if you soul charge Unrivaled, or if you have to DJ for right deck, or it's still sitting in your deck somewhere, you can just take it out and then immediately ride it as soon as you go second, or as soon as you're in Final Rush if you go first.
So free.
Yes, but of course it costs a counter blast, and if you
search the deck,
search on drop or soul, then you retire her. But if you search from deck, then it goes back to that. So you don't technically deck team, but you are replacing a shieldless card with a card that has 5k shield.
No! Yeah. Because if you have a Vanguard with a Bruce name that's grade 4, it gains another 10k shield. So you literally are carrying an additional 4 trigger units in your deck to help defend you. It's pretty insane. And they're giving this shit to Kyrie. Can you imagine that? Yes. So all in all, Impediment Slicer is really the card I didn't know I needed for Bruce. I didn't know we needed a Severe Right from deck. But hey,
I mean, overall is the reason why you don't have to play so, because you're basically playing, this basically acts as your last 4 copies of Unrivaled card, but instead of it being a shieldless grade 4,
it's a 50k.
Which is the reason why I still think that it's better to run more Impediment and less Unrivaled than to run 4-4 on both.
You should run 4-4, it's breaking you out.
No, because it's a CB, but like I said, Unrivaled is a very CB heavy deck. True. So there are arguments to be made that Impediment Slicer actually can net you sometimes a win con because you're down 1 CB. Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, you still need to kill children to get it. So go kill some children. And of course, our grade zeros.
Matt, the strongest intern.
Then we play for France.
Yes.
We play for heal. We play 8 criticals, obviously.
No, it's 7.
Oh, sorry, 7 criticals. My
because
bad.
we play the over 3.
And 1 over 3.
So the OT, honestly, there are arguments to be made for the red OT in Unrivaled even though you have a restanding Vanguard. Because it's the same argument as to be made for Omina Gruzio, that since your Vanguard is already going to be hitting for like 3-4 crits already, adding another force 1, force 2.
It's not going to change much.
Might not change much because if they go to a perfect guard, they got a perfect guard.
The thing is that, the thing I like about Government Gate is just that if it comes out in the early game, that's force 1, force 2, it sways the game so much. Whereas Valnot will only give you that 1 extra attack. And if you're in the early game, then you call what? I don't know. Is Julian gonna save your life? I don't think so, but you know, a force 1, force 2 passively is gonna turn your entire deck into DOTX hyper, and it just snowballs from there.
But mainly because we go through the deck so fast, you cannot play draws in this deck.
Yeah, you can't. You can't play draws in this deck.
Even though this deck is very piece reliant, right? You really cannot play draws at all because it will completely deck you out very, very fast in this deck.
It's a very delicate balance.
You need the shield as well because you are of course waiting a turn to play the game. So that's why we play 7 crit, because the deck already has so many quick ways to get crit, and then we play 4 copies of Natalia because it's a 20k shield. Or against Omina Gruzio, it's only 15k.
I love Omina Gruzio.
Yes, such a fun and fair mechanic.
So that covers our Unrivaled Bruce deck profile. honestly, this is a video I wanted to do but just never covered it because Unrivalled Bruce was relatively, I would still dare say, unsolved back in set 4. Even though we had the idea to play, you know, stuff like Brian, like
Lyle,
it doesn't really
Leonard,
but like it doesn't really solve it. Doesn't
Yeah,
really
if you're wondering why there's none of the good grade 2 Diabolos units in this deck, is because there's really like, it's just the way that I see it. It's just that the way that OTK Bruce wants to play should not be fully reliant on stuff like Eden and Quen Lu or things like Leonard and things like Lyle in order to build soul and then call stuff on soul. It's mainly because Julian already fulfills like 3 out of 4 of those duties already for 1 CV, as well as also his life as soon as you ride Bruce, compared to Lyle, Leonard, all need to wait
until turn 4
turn in order to gain their full power. Leonard is live as soon as you ride Bruce.
So it's quite worthless. And Lennon also loses some of its value when you go up to Unrivaled because it needs you to stay on Violence Bruce.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, the column swiping is good. I think it's good against stuff like Passion of Court because they do have the retire protection against Barry. But other than that, he is not strong anymore unless both VMS as well as Violence Bruce persona, right? Or Eden. The main reason why I don't play Eden is the same reason why I play Pandemonium over Hellblast, is because you want to be able to have the option to do Unrivaled twice in a row rather than you hit your opponent as hard as possible, you can do Eden and then they survive and then you just cry because you cannot withstand or you cannot CB next time. And then there's also an argument technically to be made for the Dark States Cat that we got in this set for TBT 12. Mainly it's just that there's no space. There's like virtually like 0 space in this deck in order to run the Dark States Cat. And the timing is a bit off because you need Brian to Soul Blast out either your Matt and your Steve, and then you can call the cat. Otherwise, you're wasting your soul. So that is it for
that's
Bruce.
The Crystal Beast, yeah.
Yeah, so it's him. So it's just on place. You send 2 cards from either your drop zone or your soul back to your right deck, and then you counter charge 1.
Yep.
Or if you can do it in your opponent's battlefield, you call it the Guardian Circle.
20k shield.
Yes, it's a 20k shield. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that pretty much is the Bruce deck. It's very comprehensive already. We've gone through all your possible options. We've gone through what you do and what you don't do. I'll say that's the end of that. I think we've solved Unrivaled Bruce fully until Unrivaled Bruce gets more specific support. We don't even play Forbidol because it's just...
I mean, technically, there's the new promo.
Yeah,
the new promo for Great Force. No, for Great Force and Grifogila for Dark States.
But that is a video for another time if we do want to do that again.
Yes.
So thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye bye.